Hello YouTube, it's vlog time again, and today we're going to be doing more than one subject this time, kind of like a catch up, because to be brutally honest I've been very lazy. So let's catch up on things, although what I will be talking first is something that actually happened to me today, which is I went into a charity shop and yeah, they did something which was really ridiculous. I actually saw them sell jumper packs for £5. Yeah, you can see it right here, by the way. Yeah, for those who don't know, the N64 had RAM that you can actually add to the system, but you needed this thing called a jumper pack which allowed you to turn the system on if you hadn't already installed memory into it. It came with the system, and there was this purple piece of well, there was this purple sticker over it saying, you know, do not remove this until you're told to. And the idea is that you then purchase an expansion pack for when you get a game that requires it. So for example, Majora's Mask and Donkey Kong 64 require the expansion pack. Then you might find the odd game that might actually use the expansion pack as an optional thing to do. So you had Resident Evil 2 that actually used it to improve textures, and you had Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer that used it to improve frame rate. The issue that I've got here is that this is the thing that requires the N64 to work. This came with every single N64, by the way. Every single machine, every single N64 had one of these. The simple fact that they're selling it is ridiculous, because there's no point in removing it unless you purchase an expansion pack. I can understand if this was an expansion pack, but this is the thing that came in the system that allowed the system to boot up in the first place, and it just seems ridiculous that this place was even selling it. You know, the only reason why you would want to sell this is because you may have purchased one from someone who had actually removed their jumper pack or expansion pack for whatever stupid reason. That led to me talking to a couple of people on Twitter, and it actually turns out that in the United States, EB Games actually had a thing where they actually took expansion packs and jumper packs out of N64s and actually sold N64s without the jumper pack, which is absolutely insane. And that's why, amazingly, I had actually found out that through places like Amazon, for example, you can actually purchase a third-party jumper pack, not a third-party expansion pack, a third-party jumper pack that allows you to boot the system up. And that's just absolutely insane, in my opinion. I mean, to purchase an N64 without the jumper pack is ridiculous, and to think that there might be people that don't understand this, you know, maybe they weren't around, or they didn't have an N64 at the time, or something like that, I don't know, but it seems absolutely insane that you would actually purchase an N64 without the thing that actually makes it work. I mean, I can understand maybe you might not get a power supply or the AV cables for it, but this is a crucial piece of hardware for the N64. You need to have either the jumper pack or an expansion pack to make the thing boot up, and the fact that EB Games in the US actually took these out, no wonder why you find things like this. But it did make me remember that there was a shop down the same street, which this charity shop was at, that actually did a similar thing. They were actually selling loose N64s without their jumper packs, and I looked at it and I just thought, how insane was that? But fortunately that shop closed down. Ha ha ha, you should have known better. But yeah, that blows my mind, how you've got people that are selling these jumper packs separately. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Okay, let's talk about the Legend of Zelda TV show that's going to be releasing on Netflix, which is pretty crazy, to be perfectly honest. It makes sense, and it also doesn't make sense at the same time. Reason it makes sense, well, there's a lot of TV shows at the moment that are doing pretty damn well. Game of Thrones being one of them. They've even quoted that this Zelda TV show is actually going to be a family-friendly version of Game of Thrones. But my only gripe is I haven't watched TV in a very long time, so I honestly don't know if I'm really going to watch it unless they can give me good reason to go and watch it. But if they can make me watch it, then fair enough. I mean, this isn't the first time Nintendo's attempted to do anything like this. You know, obviously there was the Zelda cartoons back in the late 80s and early 90s. And there was going to be a computer animated Zelda movie that they canned a few years back. So not that Nintendo has never done this before, but what is interesting is that they are collaborating with Netflix to do this show. It's not going to be animated, it will actually involve actors. It'll be very interesting to see who will play each part. My only real gripe is that how are they going to make Link? Like, is he now going to talk? Because if you haven't realised, Link never talks. He's pretty mute, and hopefully he won't turn into the annoying brat that he was in the cartoon show. Well, excuse me, princess. Anyway, yeah, if it does well, then fair enough, but honestly, I really don't care about this, so I don't know. I'm neither saying yay or nay for this. I just... Next we've got Persona 5 was actually shown off last week, and for the first time they've actually shown off gameplay, characters, and plenty of other stuff which we've been waiting for ages. I mean, before this we just saw images of you know, chairs being chained to, you know, those heavy balls that prisoners would wear, but this actually looks really cool now. It's really cool that they have actually shown this off. It won't actually stick to just grinding like the previous Persona games. You will actually do a little bit of platforming, and there's even some Metal Gear Solid stealth moments in the game as well, which actually looks really cool, and it just oozes in this really cool style, kind of like a mix of film noir and Lupin the Third. You actually play as a group of thieves, which is actually really it's kind of cool that they're going this way, and it looks like they're moving away from the typical Japanese high school trope that the previous Persona games have gone. Although you will still be going to school, you are playing a teenager who goes to a high school. That's still there, but it looks like how can I put it? You know, it's rather than it being like you know, going back and forth to school and fighting missions, which yes you still are, there's actually an ongoing theme where you're actually playing as a group of crooks who seem to be invading casinos, and apparently these casinos are run by the shadows, and you are, I don't know if you're meant to be stealing anything, but there's obviously some kind of theft going on. But the interesting thing about this though is that they didn't actually show off any personas, the actual summons in the game. But one thing that was cool, right at the very end you get to see the lead protagonist actually get set on fire, and might actually show, well, a tiny glimpse of what his persona might actually be. And there's a very big possibility that you might actually become the persona rather than summoning personas as a separate entity, that you might actually turn into a persona, which will be actually kind of cool. It'll go back to how Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga is like, where you actually turn into this cybernetic demon. That'll be really interesting if they merge those two games together, and it looks like that they're doing that. Lastly, I got to see these really cool images of a Japanese dude who actually modded his PlayStation 1 to have the city of Midgar on the top of his PlayStation. Now this is actually really cool. For those that don't know, Midgar was the town in Final Fantasy VII, that, you know, that classic cinematic that you actually get at the beginning of the game. You actually see Midgar from way up above. He's actually managed to put Midgar on the well, the little tray thing that actually flips up, you know, the lid, should I say, the you know, the lid of the PlayStation, and he actually put LEDs inside, so when the system actually turns on, it'll actually light up as if you've actually got the Mako reactors moving, and you can actually see the disc from within as well as it's, you know, spinning around. It just oozes in coolness. That's all I've got to say for today's vlog. This week I'll be actually doing my best to actually try and keep up with stuff, and I will be producing more content. So I'll see you guys around.